Welcome to Module 6 of this training series on understanding narcissistic abuse. In the last module, we explored what happens when someone recognizes coercive conditioning. That moment, the moment of clarity, is destabilizing because once you see it, as they say, you can't unsee it. But awareness alone doesn't immediately produce action. What follows is subtle. What follows is discernment. The moment you begin to see beneath the obvious, not judging, perceiving. It's when your deeper perception starts coming back. One of the most misunderstood aspects of identity recovery, of finding yourself again, is this: clarity does not require confrontation. When someone finally understands that they've been psychologically conditioned, as you can imagine, there's often a surge of urgency, a pressure to act, to expose, to leave, to confront. But discernment is not impulsive. It pauses, it asks softer questions. Is it safe right now? If I speak, what happens next? If I leave, do I have the support I need? It considers timing, sustainability. It considers whether the action protects your well-being, not just your pride. I'd say think of it this way. Clarity gives you information. Discernment gives you strategy. Sometimes discernment means you don't confront, not because you're weak, but because you're building quietly, saving money, gathering strength, maybe just waiting for that right moment. So let's talk about the nervous system after recognition. When someone realizes that they've been manipulated, their body often reacts before their mind fully settles. Sometimes it surges into urgency. I have to fix this. I have to do something right now. I can't let this continue. But other times it freezes. You feel like you can't move yet. You don't know even where to begin. Both are trauma responses. Both are protective. And neither means that you are weak. What happens is that your nervous system is trying to regain footing. It's trying to make sense of what just shifted. Discernment begins when your internal world steadies enough to breathe again. When you can sit with what you've learned without feeling like you're on fire or paralyzed. That's when evaluation becomes possible. That's when options become visible to you. Because remember, healing isn't about forcing decisions. It's about restoring enough internal steadiness that your choices come from clarity rather than alarm. Because decisions made from panic are often about the escape. Decisions from collapse are probably going to be about survival. Discernment requires something quiet, stability. Now, let's talk about this shift from reaction to alignment. Before recognition, most choices are reactive. And again, not because you're weak, but because you adapted. You adjusted to avoid conflict. You had to anticipate moods at the time. Before the mood was formed, you suppress instincts because they were punished before. You probably apologized preemptively, just in case. all becomes automatic. And you don't even realize how much of your energy goes into maintaining your equilibrium. And then something happens after recognition. And it's not loud or dramatic. A new question begins to surface. Does this feel consistent with who I am? Another might be, is this respectful? Is this reciprocal? Am I still shrinking to maintain the peace, or am I standing in something steadier? Those questions are not rebellion. They are recalibration. Discernment replaces the appeasement. Appeasement is saying, what will I do to keep this calm? While discernment asks, what keeps me aligned? And appeasement scans the room, but your discernment scans the self. And that shift from managing someone else's emotional weather to consulting your own compass is the beginning of restored agency. And remember, agency doesn't mean aggression. It means your choices start coming from you again, not from fear, not from appeasement, from alignment. And that could be as small as saying, let me think about that, or declining something without over explaining why. So let's pause for a moment here and talk about why discernment is so powerful. It's because it doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't require accusation. It doesn't require making a scene. It requires something much different. Internal permission. Permission to trust what you see with your own eyes. Again, permission to take your time. Permission to respond instead of react. When clarity informs discernment, something interesting happens. You may speak less, but mean more. You may delay confrontation, but not deny the truth. You may prepare quietly without abandoning yourself. That isn't avoidance. That's controlled power. It's the kind of power that doesn't need to be a spectacle to be real. Discernment is self-trust, rebuilding in real time. It's a moment you realize you don't have to prove what you know. So what does this look like in real life? Discernment may look like pausing instead of defending yourself immediately. It may look like noticing patterns instead of arguing about an individual incident. It may mean talking to someone you trust before reacting, gathering perspective instead of escalating emotion. Sometimes it's as practical as gathering information before making a decision. It might be as simple as saying, I need time to think about it and really mean it. It's strategic clarity. When identity has been suppressed, choices often feel externally driven, don't they? You move according to pressure, according to mood, according to what will keep things calm. Discernment reintroduces internal authority. Instead of asking, what will keep the peace? You begin asking, what aligns with my integrity? That shift is subtle, but it changes everything. This isn't about becoming combative, it's about becoming congruent. Congruent between what you know and what you do, and between what you feel and what you choose. This isn't about becoming difficult. It's about becoming consistent with yourself. Recognition disrupts illusion, then discernment rebuilds direction. Clarity without discernment, however, can lead to an impulsive confrontation or a collapse. But with clarity, with discernment, restores power gradually, sustainably, and safely. Now, in the next model, we'll explore what happens when discernment begins influencing behavior and how small aligned actions rebuild identity faster than any dramatic declaration ever could. I'm Keil Hackley. Thank you for staying with me through Module 6, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.